Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Mortgage Coach 10X Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock for, it's been over 15 years. I have made an attempt to put on the best sales meeting in the mortgage industry. And it's pretty easy to try to do that when you got a guy like Dan Keller. Dan Keller absolutely kills it every time I've interviewed him. It's been among the most viewed interviews of the year. Dan, last year you were in 5 of the top 12 videos of the year. What do you say to that, my man?
Well, I think it's just it's what you've built here with Mortgage Coach. People are hungry for coaching and training and real coaching and real training without any strings attached. So it's just a pleasure and an honor to always be invited into your group, man. You've created an incredible tribe, man. So you should be proud of what you guys have built and are continuing to grow.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. I want to remind folks, there's a LinkedIn article where I break down the top 12, and there's also a playlist, the top 12 videos of 2023. And Dan, talked about unlocking the power of cold calling realtors, 11 months ago, 5,000 views, how to set more realtor meetings and convert meetings into profitable relationships. Jeremy's Realtor Playbook. And I know there's 2 more Dan ones in here. I don't know which one I passed, but he was also in Scriptapalooza. So there were 4 that were just you. And then you were part of Scriptapalooza. So I like to make this, guys, as interactive as possible, but you guys need to participate to do that. So whether you're watching the recording of this in YouTube, put questions down below. If you're watching it live, we will try to get to your questions, whether you're watching it live in Facebook or here in Zoom. So Dan, you picked the title, like you came up with this roadmap to 20, 30, 40, and even 50 million from real estate agents. Like that was your title, that was your headline. What were your thoughts and why did you pick that as your headline and title?
Yeah, I've heard a coach say this, and he's one of the top coaches in the mortgage space about a year ago at an event, and he said, if you're not making X number of dollars a year, which it was like, let's say $350,000 to $500,000 a year, then you were a waste of time for him. And I heard that, and it kind of shook me to the core because I had people like you when I was closing less than $20 or $30 million a year. And other coaches actually care and say, if you're in this space in your journey in the mortgage industry, then here's what you should be doing. And if you're closing less than 20 million or 30 million or 40 million, I want to help you. That's who I help at the company that I'm with. I'm a regional and a national coach at New American Funding. And that comment kind of got me fired up. And it also showed me too, there's a lot of people that really need some guiding, some training, some coaching, and sometimes they can't afford it. And so what you've done with the Mortgage Coach community, it's all free, no strings attached. It's assumed that you're going to use the Mortgage Coach software. I've been a Mortgage Coach user since 2012, but these coaching calls, like you just mentioned, there's tactics in every single one of them that will help you get to 10 million, to 20 million, to 30. But specifically today, in regards to the accounts pyramid, working with realtors, most of my top calls in your community, Dave, are around working with realtors. I've made that a pillar in my business since I started. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to build out a plan. I'm going to show you how I coach loan officers at our company that are doing less than 20 or that are doing 30 that want to get to 40 million. I'm going to show you how we not just goal plan, but how we connect the dots between planning and getting paid and hitting your goals at the end of the year. So it's going to be a good call today.
Good. I'm excited about that. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know about this feature in MMI. If you go to mortgage and then you click on LO rank, there down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little thing called LO tier ranking. And so, there's in tier 4, there's 5,570 loan officers doing from 100 to 200. There's 787 doing, 2 to 3, 262 doing 300. But, look at this, 1 to 30 loans. 241,000, 30 to 60, 27, almost 28,000. So I love your passion. I mean, it's always been my passion while I interview elite top performing loan officers, because I do think they represent a best practice. Like what they're doing is working at an elite level. And by the way, I get asked to interview more loan officers that are, just call average, less than 20 million, 30 million. And the challenge with that is what they're doing is not necessarily a best practice. Like there could be some real things that they're doing. And I also don't want to, be live coaching them like, hey, you know what? That's wrong. So, and by the way, maybe I should do more of that. Like if you want me to interview and do some live coaching with some, less than $20 million a year producers, let me know that, give me either a reaction or a comment, any suggestions on how we can make this channel and this community more valuable to you. I want to do that. So Dan, let's get into it. Let's, and by the way, if anyone wants to raise their hand and like get specific coaching based off of I'm here and I want to get here, like I bet you we have some time for no more than 10 minutes of live coaching on this call. I know Dan loves role playing and coaching. So if anybody wants to jump on the hot seat, we welcome you. So Dan, let's get after it. Like you're doing a coaching session for the whole mortgage coach community, but what can they do to get more realtor business in this marketplace?
Well, it's critical that you do have a purchase-centric business moving into 2024. That's going to come from real estate agents. It can come from real estate agents. It can come from consumer direct marketing. It can come from a lot of the things that I do with home buyer classes.
And builders.
Yeah. The cool thing about working with builders is there's typically a real estate agent involved or more than one real estate agent involved. And so let's frame it this way. I want you, if you're taking notes, there's not just one way of going and finding a real estate agent. This is what I'm currently doing as a producing branch manager. This is what I'm teaching my loan officers. We have to be highly visible and we have to be highly active. I've been saying this for 2.5, 3 years. Like that involves being on social media, that involves doing video, that involves face-to-face, popping by open houses, popping by real estate agent offices. I've gone more so in the last 3 or 4 months straight to the top. I'm calling broker owners, branch managers of real estate offices and saying, what would it take for me to get into your office? I'm getting an objection. We have an in-house lender. We have a closed office. We don't really do that. I'm like, great. So if I could show you a way where I could help you take, it looks like you have 72 agents that did not cap last year. That means you still have the potential to make money off of them. If I could help 30% of your 72 agents close 1 or 2 more transactions this year, well, it sounds to me like that would be financially beneficial to you. It's a script that simple. Just hit replay on that.
Dan, real quick. So that data, that data, you've looked it up in MMI before the conversation, and you're going in with, not hiding the fact that you know it. It's like, hey, you got this many agents, this many are doing business, and you're coming in with a data-driven conversation with a data-driven value prop. Is that accurate?
Yes. And it's a majority, you guys. It's the same thing with top producers in mortgage. It's the 95-5 rule, right? So you're going into the offices and you're finding out they have, let's just say 100 agents, for example, and you have 12 that cap. All right. And so going in and knowing your numbers and then going in with a value proposition to help the broker owner make more money is critical. So, and then how we're going to do that at the end of the call, kind of share with the ABCs of how we help them close more transactions. But again, going back to being highly visible and highly active, putting on, so I've listed open houses, I've listed social media and video, events, lunch and learns, home buyer classes where you invite realtors, pre-approval classes where you invite realtors. Get creative. Get creative. Wherever you think you can meet a realtor, networking groups, you need to be there. So I'm encouraging my loan officers to just be super, super active and very, very visible right now. Okay. So now that we got that out of the way.
Real quick, I just want to call out a note. So I interviewed Jeremy last Tuesday for the Tuesday 10X. By the way, that video has been viewed over 1,300 times now. So that is the #1 video right now of the year so far. See if you can get more views, Dan, than Jeremy. I didn't mean to call you out there, but the title he picked was Getting Ahead. We're already behind, getting ahead. What are the top 3 opportunities of 2024? And Jeremy's top 3 opportunities of 2004 were #1, your database. And he talked about how he's hitting his database right now. #2, he called out, be a student and be a great teacher, which I know, Dan, you epitomize that. And his #3 was help realtors grow. And, he spent time talking about how he's helping realtors grow. And I want you to hear what Dan said, because, and I'll put a link down below when you watch the recording of this to Jeremy's take. Is he said helping realtors grow, and Dan said helping the managers of realtors. He's coming in at an even higher level and like, let me tell you how I'm going to help you grow. So love the idea of going from the bottom up. And I also love what you just threw in, going from the top down to help realtors and the owners of real estate companies grow. So I just wanted to call that out. Again, link down below.
Yeah, and I mean, if Jeremy says it, Jeremy's one of the top mortgage coaches in America, you guys. So if Jeremy's saying database, be a student and a teacher, and then help realtors grow, do it. Do all 3 of them. I'm going to focus on #3. But in order to help, listen to this, in order to help realtors grow, you have to be growing. Because if you're not growing, you're going to stand out there. No realtors want to be taught or coached by a lender partner. They look at us as vendors. They look at us as service providers. They look at us, in my business, I'm valuable. I'm helping them with video. I'm helping them with social media. I'm helping them with prospecting, but I don't lecture them. I'm partnering up with them. I'm leading by example too. And so in order to lead by example, you too have to be led by someone or something, a coach, a program, mortgage coach community, these teachings. So exactly what Jeremy is saying, exactly what I'm saying is, in order to be a student or in order to be a teacher, you got to be a student. And so make sure you're learning this stuff. And then you got to have the heart of a teacher to help other people grow, especially in our space, realtors. And it's really easy. If you can help a real estate agent build a better business, close more transactions, they will want to work with you. They will want to align with you, right? And so that's the whole idea. One of the last highly visible and highly active strategies, this ties right into what Dave just said and what Jeremy just said, get licensed to teach clock hour classes, okay? Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there going, well, I'm not like Jeremy. I'm not like you. You guys can speak in front of people. Well, guess what? 10 years ago, I couldn't. 12 years ago, I couldn't, or I could, but I wasn't good. So now you've got to be the student. You go hire people like Renee. You go back and watch all the videos that Dave's done with Phil Jones, with Renee Rodriguez and stuff like that. And you learn how to be a better presenter. And I believe there's a huge opportunity teaching clock hour classes. So real estate agents need a certain amount of clock hours to renew every single year, just like we do. Title companies, you can partner with them. I'm licensed with the state of Washington to teach clock hour classes in the state. And so I can do my own. I have a list of approved classes. And I believe this is one of the easiest ways to go out and cold call a realtor. Hey, Dave, this is Dan Keller over at New American Funding. I have a clock hour class that's licensed. It's very cheap, but have you ever attended a clock hour or a continuing education class for your real estate license to help you close more transactions in a 30 to 60 day window? And they say, most of the time they say, no, this was the title company on title or escrow or whatever. Good. I've got 3 courses that are licensed. It's only $10. Here's my next date. I'm going to send you some information. I'd love to sign you up. And after that, I would love to follow up with you to show you actually how we can deliver on what you've learned in the class. Guys, clock hour classes is big. So clock hours, open houses, lunch and learns, popping by offices. I like to go to the broker owner because an opportunity to speak or to put on an event for them, you've just maximized your time. You've just gotten in front of 20 or 30 people instead of calling 20 or 30 to get 2 or 3. Okay. So I like that. And
hey, Dan, before you go past that, because there was a little script alert that you did a minute ago. Could you repeat just the script, like role playing, ring, ring, and you're calling an agent and you're leading with the clock hour value prop. Do that script one more time.
Yeah. Hey, this is Dan Keller over at New American Funding. Hey, I have a clock hour class that I teach, and every single month, I'm hosting it this month on marketing to your database, whatever. I've got 7 or 8 of them. I'll pick a topic and then I'll ask them, have you ever attended a clock hour or a continuing education class that has helped you close transactions within the next 30 or 60 days from attending? Most of the time they say no. I'm like, great. I've got some specific clock hour classes licensed through the state that help real estate agents close more transactions. I've got one coming up on the 28th. I'll email you an invite. Is that something that you're interested in? I had one person last week say, no, I got my clock hours taken care of. And I'm like, great. Would you like to close an extra 2 or 3 transactions in the next 60 days? And they said, yeah, what's the catch? And I said, and then I went right into mine. That's exactly why I'm calling today. I've got time tomorrow at 10, or would 12 o'clock on Thursday work better for you? We can sit down for 30 minutes and I can show you exactly how that looks.
So wait, I want to call out so many things, guys. So really, pause this, go back and listen again. Notice how he used the word exactly. Know how, the real value prop is the next 30 to 60 days. Like, it's a tough time in this market. We've come out of winter. We've come out of a tough year. Now we're in January and February. Like, if you've got an idea and a strategy that can help me close and sell a home over the next 30 to 60 days, I'm listening. So I just want to make sure, while that was the Dan Keller clock hour class, you could put anything in front of, I've got 2 proven ideas that are working right now that I'd like to meet with you for 15 minutes that could help you close an extra, at least one extra sale over the next 30, 60 days. You got 15 minutes. So I just want to realize that's the clock hour script, but really it's the Dan Keller grow and more deals in 30 to 60 days. So I hope you guys get out there and get after it. And use the 30 to 60 day. I got ideas and strategies to help you do this. Killer script, Dan. By the way, if you liked that, give us a little reaction. Let us know what you thought of that script. If it was killer, yeah, we're getting some feedback. People dig it, Dan. What else you got?
Well, we got Dave and Mortgage Coach crew. Listen, what I had to do over the last year is lower the bar for loan officers to pick up the phone. A lot of loan officers don't want a cold call. To me, this is not a cold call. It's an invitation. A cold call would be like, hey, Dave, I want to connect with you. I'm a loan officer in your market. You're a real estate agent. I want to do business. That's a cold business call. This is more of an invitation. I know that real estate agents need clock hours. I know that real estate agents want to close more transactions. I can solve for both of those, but I also can solve for the no. I'm already licensed. I already got my clock hours or continuing education credits. Good. I'm dialed in. Cool. Would you like to make more money? The class is going to help you make more money. And so it's almost unobjectable. That's why I love it. It lowers the bar for us to call realtors, and then it also makes us unobjectable. So if you don't know how to go about getting licensed as a clock hour instructor, you can Google. If you're in the state of Washington, Oregon, or Idaho, just reach out to me and I can introduce you to the person that helped get you licensed. But just Google in your area or your state. Every state's different. And I want to encourage you, that'll be one of the bigger takeaways today. But the reason why I started with this, I wanted to tee up what this accounts pyramid is. So there's multiple ways that we're meeting realtors. But the number one, I'm going to make sure I have, let me make sure I have access to share. Looks like I do. Okay. Hey, Dave, can you see my screen? Are we good?
I'm digging the pyramid.
Love it. Okay. So the reason why I wanted to start off with that is so that you guys can understand how we're going to fill this out. Okay. And for the tribe, I'm going to upload this in the Word format, just like this. I'll send it over. I'll put it into the productivity.
Yeah, put it in the productivity mastermind, guys. And if there's not a link to it, we'll convert it into a Google Doc and we'll make a link. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a link to Dan Keller's 2024 account pyramid down below. So we'll have a dynamic link for anyone that wants to check it out.
Love it. Okay, so I explained kind of the why behind this. how we're going to go out and connect with realtors so that we can fill in the dots. Now, don't get lost. This is where, let me go back to explaining this too. In working and coaching with so many loan officers over the last couple of years, me being professionally coached in the coaching program that I'm in, I've seen so many people get fired up. We set goals in October and November. We're ready to hit our goals. And a lot of the goals are metric based. So it's like, I want to close 100 million, or I want to close 300 loans, or 200, however many loans. And then we build out our pyramids, right? Our pillars of where we're going to get our business from. But I've seen it too much over the last 2 years as a coach, where there's a massive disconnect between goal setting and counting the money. There's a huge disconnect between setting the goals, executing on the work, what we're supposed to do, and then counting the money. And the reason why, I don't think the plan was clear enough. So for example, let's say you got disconnected from someone that you absolutely love. You love being with, call it a partner, a spouse, an animal, a pet, whatever. You got disconnected, you got separated. And then you got reunited. There's an opportunity to get reunited, but you were up in Seattle, Washington, and your significant other that you want to get reconnected with is down in South Florida. Okay, you got to get there, and you got to get there fast. Now, with technology nowadays, it's probably fairly easy, but let's say it wasn't that easy. Let's say you had to drive. So you're going to need to have a vehicle. You're going to need to know how much money and gas that's going to cost. You're going to need to know where you're going to stay for lodging. You're going to have to map out this trip to get to that destination. And at that destination is the treasure that you want to be reconnected with, right? This accounts pyramid, think of it this way, is a complete itinerary from getting to plan A, from point A to point B. And so when I show you this, the reason why I wanted to explain that, and the reason why I think this is so important when Dave and I were talking about this, we have to meet more realtors. When we get crystal clear on how many realtors we need, how to go about getting them, and then specifically the numbers that it's going to take to hit our goals, then getting to your destination isn't as tough as it seems. And I've seen so many people that I've helped goal set in the last couple of years just completely miss it. Okay, so there's a lot of boxes in here. This is all editable, and I'm going to send you the editable part. Go ahead.
No, just something that came to my mind. You know, we live in a time of really lack of clarity, lack of confidence. You know, that's one of the biggest problems with borrowers right now. Like, should I buy now or should I wait? You know, lacking clarity and confidence around doing that. And as loan officers and mortgage professionals, that's one of the biggest challenges you all have. And the thing I love about this, Dan, and you said it, this gives you clarity. So I just can't emphasize enough, even if you have done other goal setting and planning and you have this documented in your way, I really promise you that if you just dedicated a 1 hour jam session or a 45-minute jam session and you filled out this pyramid that Dan had, there'd be a layer of value. And even if you're not going to use that for your day-to-day ops because, hey, this is the way I like to document it, but I'm going to push everybody. You're spending, you know, an hour in this full hour interview, spend another hour, time block it, and fill this out. You know, and here's what it will do is it will give you more clarity, and clarity will give you more confidence. And so Dan, first time I've seen that. I mean, I have seen other similar sales planning tools, but first time I've seen it in the context of the mortgage space. And great job, bro, and great leadership. Let us know what you thought of that. And by the way, if you're gonna do what I asked, you know, give me a thumbs up. Use a little thumbs up reaction like savage, I'm in. All right, I'm digging it. So you're committed, by the way. Like I am. I'm going to follow up with all of you that put your thumbs up. All right, Dan, keep it rocking, bro.
Well, if you really like the pyramid, I don't have it in my office right here because I meet clients in here and I meet realtors in here, and I don't think it would be a good taste. But in my cafeteria on the other side of the wall, I have it's a 5.5 foot by 3.5 foot version of this that says, Keller accounts 100 roadmap to 100 million, and it's got the same thing, dry erase. So
will you take a picture of that and put it
yeah.
in the productivity mastermind? So guys, Trust Engine, Productivity Mastermind, Facebook group, you know, we still got a lot of people in there. The engagement's been a little down. Dan's going to post a picture of that. Give us a comment, give us a little engagement in the Facebook group. Let's see if Dan Keller can have the most engaging, most, you know, commented on post of the year. So thank you, Dan.
And people are going to ask you, Dave, and they're going to ask me, oh my God, how'd you get that made? Don't ask me. I went down to our local copier and printer and I showed them the exact form that I showed you. They redid it to scalable on their format, and then they printed it for me.
How much? What did it cost you? Like $50?
Yeah. Yes. It was a few years ago, about $65, $75. Yeah.
So guys, there's another great idea.
Yeah.
And here's another push to everyone, whether it's Dan's pyramid or some other, like, you're really clear on who your targets are, who are the realtors you're going after, have that someplace in your workspace. If you want to blow it up and put it in the cafeteria, get on it. If you want to have it as a piece of paper that you turn over when clients are in, but you have it right side up when you're grinding and working, but have some workspace, the roadmap to success laid out somewhere where you're reminded of it every day, every week, as we execute this year. All right, bro. We're almost at halftime. So want to make sure I just give you a little halftime warning. 2 minutes to halftime.
Yep. So we teed up the accounts pyramid. We're going to come back to that, and I'm going to explain each section, what the accounts pyramid is. But in order to fill out the accounts pyramid, you have to get clear on where you're at. So this is our GPS. We're in right here, example LO. This is an example of a loan officer that is at my company in my region that I met with about 4 weeks ago. Okay. So this is where we're at right now. Down here is our destination. So 2023 total units, he did 22 units. Average loan amount was right around 500 grand. Total volume in 2023 was right around 10, 11 million. Total leads in 2023 was 58. Conversion rate, this was based off of his lead tracker, was right around 37%. So he converts pretty good, okay? And the conversion rate, lead to closing. This is lead to closing, okay? Now, Mike came to me and Mike said, Dan, I want to make $200,000. I got to get back to 200K a year. I was like, okay, let's draw out the roadmap. Let's identify exactly how that looks. This is an experienced loan officer up here in the Seattle market. So he wants to make $200,000 a year. From there, we just reverse engineer. Unit goal needed to hit that number is 32 units. So he needs to increase his units by 10. Guys, that's not outside of reality. That's doable, okay? Average loan amount. I raised the loan amount because we've got rising loan amounts up here in Seattle. So I went from 500 to 525. Volume goal needed to hit 200K based off of his comp is between 16 and 18 million in production. So I use 16 for this. Estimated comp, 120 basis points. And then total leads needed based off of his 37% conversion rate. In order to hit his goal, he needs about 82 leads for the year instead of 58. Completely doable. Okay, so this is where we sit down and we figure out how we're going to fill out the accounts pyramid. So let's jump over and let me explain it. And I want you to get trained, get coached on this right now. Come back to it and mess around with it later, you guys. So channel accounts. A lot of $10 to $20 million a year producers may or may not have a lot of channel accounts. A channel account, over here is the legend. A channel account is where you're getting about 10 to 12 closings from one realtor a year. So that's like one deal a month. In Mike's case, he wants to hit 20 million. 20 million is our goal. So I typed in 20 million right here at the top. Okay. I need Mike to have one channel account. Your goal this year is to get one realtor. You probably already have them, but your goal is to find one channel account. Our goal is to get one transaction a month from that person, or 10 to 12 by the end of the year. Down here under accounts, highlighted in gray, we only need 3 accounts. What's an account? An account is a realtor that can refer you 4 deals, 4 closings per year. It's 1 a quarter. Guys, when you put it in this context, it's not that hard. I need 3 realtors that I can close 1 deal per quarter with, okay? Now, top 30. Under top 30, that's one, or excuse me, up to 3 units per year. Okay. These are leads, but leads and or closings here. I want closings. So have referred leads or can close up to 3 units a year, ideally 1. Okay. So right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. We have 10 right here. 10 realtors that we can at least get 1 closing from in 2024. So how difficult of a conversation would this be? You meet someone at an open house, for example, you get them to sit down with you and talk business. And at the end of the business meeting, you've looked up their numbers on MMI, you know they're hustling, and you say, hey, Dave, I'm going to deliver all of this advice and this help and these strategies to help you go out and close more listings and close more buyer sales. If I do all of this, can I count on you to close 1 transaction this year? I'm all about lowering the bar. If we can lower the bar with realtors now, we might get more, but most realtors are not going to say, nah, probably not. Okay. So you're setting the stage, you're setting the expectations that I just need 1 closing from you. Okay. So 10 of them here, 3 of them here, 1 here. Let's go ahead over here. Now in these boxes, these will change for everyone. We can edit them. So if we get 1 channel account next year, that's 10 to 12 closings. So let's just round down 10. If we have 3 accounts, that's 4 each, that's 12. Now we're up to 22 closings. And then we have 10 accounts that are giving us a minimum of 1. Now we're up to 32. We have 32 to 34 closings. So down here, 32 closings from agents, $525,000 average loan amount, 31, I think I put 31 closings here, is 18 million. That's $200,000 in income. That'll get you there. Now, here's the kicker. This is what's absolutely incredible about this. We haven't even started talking about database, refinances, referrals, all of that stuff. That's going to be icing on top, the cherry on top of the sundae right there. So Mike leaves this meeting and he's stoked. He's like, I can do this. I can do this. Clock hour classes, popping by open houses, lunch and learns, sitting down with broker owners, going and speaking at offices, cold calling, all of these things. He now has a game plan to go do. And then what we do weekly is we just coach around it. Hey, how'd your calls go? Man, I got a lot of voicemails. Okay, cool. Let's work on leaving a better voicemail. I got a lot of turn downs. I got a lot of, no, I'm not interested. Okay, because your value proposition and there was no urgency and you didn't monetize the call. You didn't monetize your value proposition. So let's work on that. So there's a game plan now. This is how you fill out the accounts pyramid. I'll upload all of this stuff. But what I wanted to do to anchor down this call today, Dave, if you want to transition into the second half, we do all of this because we've got to close them for business. We make all the phone calls, we do all the pop buys, we do all these meetings to then follow up with them. So let me go back. This is the final section of the pyramid, the base. See how there's so many spots down here for names? We want to fill that in. Every time we go to an open house, boom, we're going to put the realtor there. Every time we do a clock hour class and there's 8 people or 15 people or 20 people, we're going to put all their names there. Now, the really cool thing about this is you can delete, okay? So if you put their names there and you call them and you have a meeting with them, you don't like them or they just don't do any deals or whatever, you can remove them. But as you're prospecting new agents, you're going to load the base of the pyramid. And then here's your challenge. We're going to make it a game. Our challenge is to move 1 from a prospect up to a top 30, more from prospects up to a top 30. Once they send you 1 referral, we're going to move them up. Whether it closes or not, we're going to move them up, okay? And then once they send you more than 1 closing, we're going to move them up, okay? So the goal is to bottom load the bottom and then graduate these people up. So imagine if we were flipping it over. It's going to flow right down through the pyramid and you're going to end up getting your channel account or you're going to go find a channel account. Some people call them whales. I don't care. You're going to find someone. And sometimes if you don't have one, you guys, my channel accounts, I have 4. My channel accounts did not happen overnight. They took years of work, okay? You might hit the jackpot and land one overnight, but the channel accounts are going to take some time. So if you can't get a channel account and you only find one that you close 6 with, great. It's above an account. Just know that you're going to have to go add probably 1 or 2 more accounts instead of having that one channel account.
Loving it, Dan. So Dan, this has been great. If you guys have questions, let us know. I am going to also put a link to his interview from last year around cold calling realtors. And I do believe we've given you planning, we've given you some scripts, we've given you some nuances of scripts. And between what we've covered today and what we covered in how to cold call realtors, which I'm going to put a link, handled. Let's spend the rest of the call focused on what do we do in the meetings to stand out and really become essential. And how are you leveraging total cost analysis? And which TCAs are you leveraging to create value? So that, because one part of the promise to come to the call is, hey, we're going to tell you how to get new realtors, and we're going to tell you how to get more referrals from the realtors you already have. And I think we already checked how to get more. I do want to make sure before this half hour is over that we've checked, hey, you've already got partners. How are you showing up as a mortgage coach, a data-driven mortgage coach, and getting more referrals from those folks? So if you could take that on for the rest of the call and share any TCAs you have.
Yeah. So there's two different times where I'll share Mortgage Coach. Number one, if I'm doing an office meeting and I'm in front of a group of realtors, I am going to use Mortgage Coach because I always get a, oh my gosh, oh wow. And I'm going to share the presentation that I use there. And it's basically how to get people. I specialize in working with first-time homebuyers. That's what I do. Now, do I do other loans? Absolutely. And I tell realtors this, but my passion is working with first-time homebuyers. Why? I think it's the gift that keeps on giving. Most first-time homebuyers know other friends that want to buy. The other thing is they're going to buy again. They're going to refinance within the next year, most likely, or two. Then they're going to refer us, and then they're going to buy again in the next 3 to 5 years. That's just the typical trends for first-time homebuyers. Plus, I've built my business off of educating them, okay? So in those meetings with real estate agent offices, I will say that. Now, I always use Mortgage Coach because I like to be able to show realtors how I'm going to convert their buyers into action. And so the Mortgage Coach TCA that I'll show is basically, and I title it this, if you were to talk to a client, and this is, let's assume my audience right now, I'm talking to a group of realtors. If you were to sit down and talk to a client and your client was kind of on the fence whether or not they wanted to buy now or wait, if you framed it like this, if I could show you a way where I could give you a $50,000 a year raise without having to go to your employer and ask for a $50,000 a year raise, would you be interested in learning more about that? And all the realtors are like, yeah, what's the catch? Cool. Then I pull up a 5-year net worth analysis on a rent versus own TCA, and I'll show you this in a second, and it's more than $50,000 a year. And I'll always say something to this effect that realtors, if you were to ask your client to go to their boss and ask them for a $50,000 a year raise, what do you think their boss would say? You're crazy. Sorry, I can't help you. Cool. Well, let me show you a way to do that. And I do that with Mortgage Coach. That's kind of my shiny object. That's kind of my my flasher when I meet with realtors to get their attention that, hey, I have a process for educating home buyers. I have a process for getting people into action, and I want to help you. And I always say this in my meetings. I have a great mortgage team, the Dan Keller team, that closes loans. My job is to help you make more money. As a lender, you as a realtor, my job is to help you make more money. If I can close a loan with ease, early and on time, with a 5-star review, and with my follow-up and get you referrals, is that something that you're looking for in a mortgage lender? Every single time they say yes. Great. So my team and I will close the loan. That's what we do. My personal job is to help make you money. And this is how I'm going to help do that. And I use Mortgage Coach. I use Lunch and Learns. I use a lot of the strategies that I've been coached on. Again, going back to what Jeremy said, you got to be a student so that you can be a teacher. Okay. So let's
real quick, and be ready to show that up and do a training on it. I did an interview, not last week, but the week before, with Alex Thompson, who is the vice president of sales for Daniel Saw's group. And, I asked him, like, what is the TCA that you're using most with real estate agents right now, and it was very similar. It was a buy now TCA, which essentially you're doing a first-time home buyer buy now TCA. So I want to shed a light on this for two reasons. One, because this is an incredible interview. If you're watching this and you're a branch manager or some type of a regional leader, like, he walked you through not only what are the top strategies to win in this market as a mortgage coach, but he taught managers and leaders how to train and how to upgrade all your loan officers so that they're skilled at doing it. It's not just like, oh, do it. No, like, train. Like, he makes people go to this class, and for the non-mortgage coach users, he makes them watch a video and then talks to them the next day. He makes them create a TCA and then pitch me on it, and then he gives feedback. I mean, he's training. So I want every manager, this is a must watch if you haven't watched it. And then it also just validates, and I know when I ask Jeremy, it's going to be a cost of waiting TCA, no matter who I interview right now. If you want to create value with agents, get more referrals from them, show them how you're going to create clarity and confidence and sense of urgency, whether it's a move-up buyer, whether it's a first-time home buyer, and that is going to get their attention. So love that, Dan. So someone just asked if they could see the TCA you're talking about.
Let's just jump to it right now. Let's jump to it right now, and then I'll come back to where in the process we deploy this. But since we're on it, so this is a recent one that I did for Catherine and Kyle. And by the way, you guys, if you're not CCing your real estate agent on all of these presentations and reports that you're sending to your clients, you're missing out on a wow opportunity. Again, we're always selling. Realtors are getting sold by other lenders every single day. And I treat every realtor relationship like it's my last one, like I have it to lose, like it could go away tomorrow. So I'm bringing my A game on every single one. This is just the standard. Hey, I met these guys, I got referred to them. I sent this over to them before they even applied. Okay. And I've done mortgage coach trainings before. I have no problem sending this information out before people have applied. In fact, this is where, like Dave just mentioned, I provide clarity. I provide a game plan. I provide credibility. And then lastly, I close it with urgency. You want to get better at closing sales, you have to have urgency in your conversation. So tons of clarity right here on their options. They told me on the phone they wanted to keep their mortgage payment under $5,500 a month, that they had approximately $160,000 to $180,000 for their down payment. The reason why this last option, guys, there's a typo up here. It should say option 1, 2, 3, and 4, and these say option 1. But anyways, the reason why option 4 here is kind of outside of their budget is I want them to have a visual ceiling on their budget. Their ceiling is going to be just shy of $850. Okay, so I delivered on everything that they had told me on the phone what their budget was going to look like. Now, down at the bottom, I love this, net worth in 5 years. Now, let me go over here and show you how I create this, because I know there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions on, Dan, how did you do that? I go right here to analysis, you guys. Right here, I use 6% appreciation. I think that's fair. This defaults in Mortgage Coach, I think, to 60 months.
15 years? It defaults 60, and I think 5 or 10. And you're tailoring it.
Yeah, I'm tailoring this, and I'm dropping this to 5 years, okay? And then down here, this defaults to total principal paid, I think. What I do is I hit total net worth. So this is how I generate this report, you guys. I just edit those two and scroll down at the bottom, see it, net worth in 5 years. I could edit that to say 2 years or 10 years. I use 5. And then I think the where these guys are going to land, I think they're going to be right here at 650 to 700. And so in the email that I send them, I take a screenshot of this. I circle 380. I draw an arrow to this. I circle rent 0, draw an arrow to this. And we have a conversation. I use Loom. And so I'll do a real quick video. If they're brand new and they haven't applied yet, I'll walk them through the TCA, and then down at the bottom, I'll say, guys, do not move forward without understanding this. If you were to continue renting over the next 5 years, you would add $0. to your total net worth. But by owning at a 6% appreciation rate over the next 5 years in the Seattle marketplace, you're going to add almost $380,000 to your total net worth. I can't wait to have a follow-up conversation in regards to exactly how this looks. But if you click on the More Info tab, you can see a detailed analysis. Looking forward to our conversation later this week. And that's how I do it. So this goes out to every first-time homebuyer. I put rent right here. I give them their options. I understand their options by asking 3 simple questions on the phone. What is their timeline to purchase? What are they currently paying in rent? And then part 3 has A and B. Total monthly budgeted for a down payment, total monthly budgeted, max monthly payment budgeted for a total monthly payment. That's it. I get that. That allows me to create this report. I let them know that I'll send them this report with my pre-approval link in the email. They see the report. It builds trust, clarity, credibility, urgency. Then they apply. Then we have a mortgage planning meeting and we go over all of this.
So Dan, are you going to share a link to that total cost analysis? He'll share that. I'll put a link in the YouTube. I want to make sure everyone, heard where, make sure you're looping your realtor in on this. Make sure that when you're having meetings, you let realtors know that, hey, I'm not just pre-qualifying for the transaction. Here's your rate, here's your payment, here's your cash to close. This is what you afford. You're showing them the wealth accumulation benefits of investing in real estate, and realtors love it. I'm going to play a little 1-minute clip from my interview with Shay Jenkins, who works at the same company Dan does, probably shows up to your trainings and has been coached by you. Maybe it'd be fun for you and I to interview Shay if you'd be game. And like, this is how she's using MortgageCoach to win with realtors. Check this out. By the way, Dan, have you heard this little clip?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I've played it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I held that. This is the first time I played it this year. So here's a little clip from of how she's winning with realtors.
I was going after this huge, one of the top agents in Denver. And I had been trying since I was an assistant, I had been trying to get this person. And finally, the poor girl gave me a break and was like, Lord, like, here you go, take this one lead. And I took the lead and I did a mortgage coach. And I was just like, you know what, why not? I'm going to CC the agent on here. And then that's when the agent picked up the call and she's like, are you serious? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, what, mortgage coach? And I was like, you're the top agent. You've never seen this before? And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, would you be able to do this with all my buyers? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's so cool. And again, in her head, I think she was thinking, I'm up all night creating this massive presentation with all these numbers and graphs. And I got her business and she's one of my top agents now.
So guys, this is it. For every manager, train your loan officers how to deliver a buy now. Why buy now? TCA. There's a first-time home buyer version. There's a move-up buyer version. And if your loan officers can't deliver that to borrowers at a level of excellence, they need to. And then once you've got them there, if they can't integrate that into realtor conversations, whether they're speaking to a large group of realtors or whether they're having a one-on-one conversation, like, this is a cornerstone to recruiting agents in this market and a cornerstone to optimizing the referrals that you get from agents. Trust me, if an agent just thinks that, hey, you're honest, you keep your promises, you have good rates, and you can do a transaction well, you're going to get some business. But if they think you can do all of that and you could create urgency so that that buyer is more likely to buy faster and that buyer is more likely to make a more confident offer that wins, especially as rates start to come down, we're going to get into bidding wars again. So if your loan officers can't do that extra mile beyond the transaction and show the 5-year value of homeownership, you're not optimizing your success. Like, whatever your success is, it's a fraction of what it could be if you just teach this skill to all your loan officers. So one last thing that I'm going to say, and then Dan, I'm going to bring you back in. If you're a branch manager or you're responsible for the success of other people, just forwarding them this video and saying, watch it, not enough. Just forwarding the video, watch it, and telling them to show a TCA, not enough. You need to show them, you need to push them, and then show me an example of one of your TCAs, and then have a sales meeting and do role playing. Both how are we having this conversation with borrowers? How are we having these conversations with realtors? If you're not role playing, if you're not inspecting what you expect and teaching and training, you're not optimizing their success or your success. And then if the next time they ask for a price exception, they didn't do a total cost analysis, and you're not teaching and training on that, you're not optimizing your margins. You're not optimizing winning deals. So those are really the three things that I push everybody to master through Q1, so that by the time Q2 comes and spring home buying season comes, you've got an elite trained sales force that knows how to bring value in this market. Dan, what advice do you have to support that or beyond that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it to another level. If you're a branch manager listening to this, or you're a loan officer that's trying to get to 10 million or 20 million or whatever your production goal is, do three things. Number one, go and listen to Alex, the interview that Dave just did with Alex. Is it Thompson?
Yeah, Alex Thompson.
Go listen to that. If you're a branch manager and you're not doing what Alex is doing, what I'm doing, and I even learned from that. Like, I don't do the 3-day training that Alex does, which I think is genius. Okay. I do a training, but not 3 specific days of here's how you do it. Do some for me. Let me grade them like a teacher and a coach, and then additional training with MortgageCoach. So go watch that. Number one, if you're a branch manager, take this accounts pyramid that I just shared with you and sit down with your loan officers and go, hey, I know you have some big goals this year. Do we have an exact blueprint and roadmap for getting from where we're at right now to our destination, to connect with that person that we really want to be with? Okay. Sit down with them and draw that out. Number 3, have them rewatch this to learn the scripts. It's not that hard. Just take what Shay did. Shay landed a big realtor by just sending a MortgageCoach report. So when I call realtors, my I don't like saying the word script. My conversation with every realtor, cold or new, if I can show you a way to help you close an extra 2 or 3 transactions in the next 6 months, then isn't that the reason why you and I both got into this industry, is to grow our businesses? Or then wouldn't that make financial sense to you? They're always going to say yes, but what's the catch? Cool. I have some technology that I deliver to all of my clients that is a referral magnet. Leave it at that. MortgageCoach. Show them that report that I just showed you, and a realtor will say, wow, that's crazy. Then show them your follow-up. Show them some of the other things that you do. But Shay just proved it. Just by using MortgageCoach, she landed a channel account in her market. So I just wanted to repeat what you said, Dave. Don't overthink this. That's the other thing. I think loan officers are like, yeah, but I'm not Jeremy. Yeah, but I'm not Alex. Yeah, but I'm not Dan. Yeah, but I'm not Denise. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. Just go out and make the calls, go connect, get more visible, get more active, deploy what you're learning on these calls, and watch the results.
Yeah. The number one interview I did last year was with Phil Jones, the author of Exactly What to Say. And the name of the interview was Exactly What to Say to Realtors. That would be another one. I'm going to put that in a link down below. And by the way, I know that I've shared probably 3, no more than 5 hours of content for you guys to watch. And then I've also assigned at least 1 hour, if not 2 hours of work. But I leave you guys with this. For anyone that has kids in high school or college, they have an hour of homework every single day. Like high school kids and college kids have an hour of homework every day. So at most, Dan and I have given you 2 hours of high school / college level homework. And by the way, there's a lot of schools where 1 hour a day is nothing compared to what the kids have to do. But for 1 hour a day, if you guys, did what Dan said, if you listened to some of the content, if you did the work outside of that, you're going to give yourself a raise. If you're new and you're struggling, you really do have a path to get off the struggle bus right here. Like it's that simple. Like if you implement just what Dan said, and you did this and you executed it for a month or two, you'd be proud of yourself. You'd be out of the struggle bus. And if you are elite and you are a top producer, I'll bet you at a level, you're not doing everything Dan just said at a level 5. You're like, I'm a 2 here, I'm a 3 there, I'm a 5 there. But if you executed on this call and you really upgraded your skills, you're going to be in such a better position to kick some ass this year. So Dan, we got 4 minutes left. Any closing thoughts, brother?
Yeah, mortgage coach friends, I'll close with this. I love the story of the chief, the Indian chief, one of the top tribes in the area. And he had the old rain dance down to a T. Every time a particular community needed rain for their crops, they would call in this tribe, they'd call in this chief, and he would do a rain dance and it would rain. One day he was interviewed. This is years later, he's elderly, and he was interviewed by a local media company, and they said, how did you do it? Like, tell us the keys, the secrets to this rain dance that you conducted. And he was like, and this guy's very old in age at this point. And he goes, it's real simple. He goes, we just danced until it rained. And the reason why I say that, you guys, is we just got to call. We got to call until it rains realtors. We got to pop by open houses and host events until it rains realtors. So make it rain, you guys. Just be active, be visible, and I promise you, it'll start raining realtors if you do this.
All right, let Dan know what you thought. Give us a reaction. If you're watching this in YouTube and you got any value throughout this, give it a like. I just looked at the interview that you did. Which one was it? It was called Unlocking the Power of Cold Calling Realtors with Dan. And it has over 115 likes and tons of comments. Let's see if we can put this one in the top interviews of the year. So please share this with your friends, rewatch it if you think it will give you value. If you're a manager, make this part of your next sales management meeting, the content I'm creating here and the 10X. This is a branch manager tool for you guys. Yeah. We created this 10X page, Trust Engine 10X, to be a teaching tool for you. Like it's got, 6 must-watch videos, which I don't know which one of these 6 I'm going to remove, but this one's going to go here. I'm going to make sure that 2 of Dan Keller's are on this Win with Realtor tabs. Here's 3 incredible interviews with Rate Watch. And then, of course, you noticed every single tab, I had this interview, because in terms of helping a branch manager create a culture and teach and train, no better interview than this. And then all on the same page, a link to the playlist, a link to a playbook, links to videos for you to train. Branch managers do what Alex is doing. He's taking his loan officers, he's telling them to go here and watch this and then give feedback. And then go to our live trainings. The Tuesday call, we've got all you guys signed up for it here. Friday, sign up one time and you'll get invites to that. And if you want to go to our tactical trainings on how to use MortgageCoach, live training every single day of the week, we're here to be your, assistant sales trainer. Dan Keller, man, you rock, brother.
Love it, man.
Appreciate you.
For having me, Dave.
Yeah. Hey, this call is a wrap. Oh, you know what? One last thing I've been reminding myself, because one of the tools I'm using this year more than ever is my mobile club. So if you have not already become part of this mobile club, 949-799-0837, it's free. And I'm also updating savageinsights.com every day. So if you want to get coaching reminders, I try not to text more than 2 or 3 times a week. But the things that I think are most important to put your attention on, I'm texting 2 to 3 times a week. So get to be part of that club. Take care, everybody.
Love it.
See you, Dan.